Hey there, loves. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be taking you guys along with me as I create this beautiful, elegant, yet simple tablescape right in my backyard, as well as a couple easy meals that you can create for a brunch at home with your significant other. If that's something you're interested in, then definitely keep on watching. For my first meal, I'm going to be making some egg bites, and what's so great about egg bites is you can make them ahead of time. Just make them the day before or the night before and put them in a container and rest them in the fridge. And you can also freeze these to have these for whenever you want them for breakfast. Just, I would say, not go longer than 3 weeks with them frozen, but they're a great meal prep option. When making my egg bites, I love to use a measuring cup because it's so much easier to pour, especially when you're using a muffin pan or a cupcake pan. So I'm just going to add my eggs to my measuring cup. I'm going to remove that white thing that I'm thinking is the umbilical cord. It's a Caribbean thing, child. We just remove it. Then I'm going to go ahead and season my eggs. I am going to leave everything I'm using down in the description box if you guys want to recreate this exactly the way I did. But I'm also showing you guys what I'm using on the screen as well. To make my eggs nice and fluffy, I'm going to be using milk as always. A lot of persons use cottage cheese, so you can use that as an option as well, or water, but milk is always my go-to product to use when making any kind of egg bite or scrambled eggs. After lining my cupcake pan with the liners, I'm going to go in with the vegetables at the bottom of the mix. You can add this after you add the eggs in, but I find it easier to add the veggies and everything first so you don't go over or spill over the amount of mix that you have in your liner or in your cupcake pan. After adding my veggies, I'm going in with some cheese. Of course, this is optional. You do not have to add cheese, but I'm adding a mozzarella mix, and then I have a feta cheese block. I'm going to crumble some of that up and just add a little bit of feta cheese to it, and it just gives it this kind of taste. I can't explain it. You guys have to try adding it to it. It just gives it a really nice flavor or just hint in the background if you guys like feta cheese. After adding my cheese, I'm going to go in with my mix, and I'm going to pour this just a little more than halfway full. You guys can also add meat if you want, so some bacon bits or sausage bits, whatever you want. You can also add that to this mix. This mix actually makes about 9 small cupcakes, so if you want to make a bigger cupcake, I think you would probably get 6 out of the amount that I'm using. I'm going to bake this at 350 for about 22 minutes, and I'm adding some water to my baking pan so that it steams, so that my egg bites do not dry out. We don't want it to dry out, we want it to stay nice and fluffy. For my second meal, I'm going to be making some banana pancakes. I absolutely was craving some banana pancakes, but banana pancakes don't hit like when you use Bahamian bananas. Like, those little bananas are so sweet. you don't need any sugar, you don't need any syrup, nothing. They are just perfect on its own, and I find that other bananas just don't hit like that, but we're gonna make it work. So I'm using about 2 medium-sized bananas and about 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. And if you don't want to use sugar at all, you don't have to. My bananas weren't all that ripe, so I decided to add a little bit of sugar to it. I know you guys always ask about this butter in the container. It's a vegan or plant-based butter, plant oil. So I like to use that instead of the other butter. It doesn't have to melt, so I just go in with that. I'm not measuring, but I'm going to guesstimate measurements for you guys down below. And if you have a good eye, then you can probably guesstimate for yourself. I also added just a little bit of vanilla just to give it a, a nice taste. After doing all of that, I'm going to go in with my egg, and I'm only using 1 egg at room temperature. I'm going to beat that, and that is it before I add in my dry ingredients. I don't add milk to my banana pancakes. I basically make my banana pancakes the same way I make banana bread. So it's almost the same recipe. For my flour, I'm just going to be adding it in until I have the consistency that I want. I added in 4 tablespoons of flour, which should be about a cup of flour if you guys are using measuring tools. I'm also going in with a teaspoon of baking powder, and I always sift my baking powder just to get rid of those clumps, because it's not really nice to bite into baking powder when you're enjoying your meal. So I always sift that just to break it down correctly or break it down more fine. And that's basically it. We're going to mix this up, and then we're going to fry them down. Our egg bites are all done, so I'm just going to take them out of the oven to let them cool down and set before I take them out of the liners. And as you guys can see, they have not dried out a bit. That water technique helps a lot, so I hope you guys try it whenever you're making your egg bites, if you find that your egg bites dry out in the oven. To my hot frying pan, I added that same plant butter that I used inside my recipe, and I'm just going to go ahead and make sure the pan is evenly coated. We don't want to deep fry these. We don't want dumplings. We want pancakes. So a thin layer of oil or butter will do. Then I'm just going to cook these on medium-high heat until they've cooked through all the way, and then we're going to serve these up and create our breakfast platter. As you guys can see, the center is nicely cooked. It's not dried out at all. It's still nice and fluffy and moist, and just it was so good. It's so good. To create my breakfast platter or my breakfast charcuterie board, I'm actually using a decor piece in my home. It's a tray that I usually use in my living room on the coffee table, but hey, it's having a multi-purpose today. So I'm going to line that with some parchment paper, and then I'm going to start to place our breakfast items inside it. And I have no rhyme or reason why I'm placing where I'm placing it. I'm just placing it inside the tray so it looks cute. That's my aim right there. I just want it to look pretty. For my meat roses or my meat bouquet, I'm going to place down the salami just flat and I'm going to overlap them. Then I'm going to fold them in half and just roll them. It's a lot easier than pulling out a cup, especially if you don't have a cup with a small lip and you don't want something too big. But if you want a huge like meat rolls, definitely go in with a cup. It gives it a lot more volume, but I wanted something small, so I'm just doing it by hand with just the folding technique or folding method. You can definitely leave the egg bites in the cupcake liners and just let your people take it out themselves, but it was just for me and my husband, so I just removed them from the liners and added them to the platter. I also went ahead and sliced up some Gouda cheese and just tucked it in because I was out of room. I wasn't able to add my syrup cup as well as our marmalade container, but it looks really, really pretty. I'm very satisfied with how it came together. I'm also adding some berries on it, so some strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, just adding just a little bit of berries for some garnish, and they just taste really, really good as well with your banana pancakes. Now it's time to create the ambiance. I was really going for a simple but romantic, elegant kind of feel. I just wanted something very whimsical, if I can say that, because we were outside. I just wanted it to be, simple but remind me of nature. As you guys saw, my lettuce are finally growing and I'm so excited that they're finally growing. So first things first, we have to clean this picnic table down because the pollen is outrageous. The wind and the dirt, we gotta make sure we sanitize the area before we add any food or eating tools on this tabletop. Now that everything is nice and clean, I can remove all of my floral stems from my basket. And the first thing we're going to be working on is our basket bouquet. Y'all know I really love a basket bouquet. It just reminds me of a garden, okay? A nice French cottage kind of feel. I don't know. I just really, really love it. I decided to add a runner to the table. As you guys can see, I wasn't sure which runner to go with. I wanted to use the creamy like tannish color, but to me it was just throwing me off, so I went for the white. And the inspiration behind this whole decor was my alyssums. Like, I wanted the alyssums to also not be thrown in the background, but to also shine as well. So I tried to pick a lot of colors that was in the back, you know, the background, the alyssums, the basket, the wooden wall. I just wanted that to, you know, be a part of the decor. So for my basket, I decided to keep it nice and simple. I'm just going in with a few stems, some white florals, and some greenery. And if you ask me, it came together beautifully. I love that, you know, waterfall effect, that hanging effect. It just looks really, really pretty. And plus, I'm going to be using this basket to host our drinks. So it just needed to be simple but elegant. For my second and third bouquet piece, I wanted something that laid flat on the table, like it didn't stand too tall because I already had the basket bouquet. So I had an idea to go in with these floral greens and just take some of the flowers, like the lighter color, the light green hydrangeas, as well as the stark white peonies, and just make them, you know, a nice simple bouquet. It was in my head and I was just trying to bring it to life, and I think that I did a really good job. So I'm just really weaving the flowers into the greenery. Most of the time when I'm doing my decor, I'm winging everything I'm doing. So you guys are actually seeing me on camera testing these things out to see if they actually work or not. They're not planned ahead. It's just in my head, and I'm trying to bring that vision to life. I really liked the simplicity of this, but I didn't like the opening in the center. So I decided to go in with some more of that really light green hydrangea and just fill in the center. And I feel like it turned out perfect. I could not imagine or make it better. It looked perfect. Now maybe just a little bit of baby's breath sticking out like in between the flowers would have made it more whimsical, but I love it. Absolutely love it. For my placemats, I'm going in with this kind of weaving crochet kind of, I can't explain what kind of mats these are, but I'm using those as my base, And then I'm going in with these white pizza plates. They're actually pizza plates, and I'm using them for my charger. I'm using everything that I've already had in my home. I'm not going out to buy anything. And then I'm using our new like turquoise green plates with that like brown trim. Absolutely love it. I couldn't decide which cup I liked the most. The lighter green just blended in too much, even though I loved the bottom. So I went with the darker green because it looked similar to the turquoise color in the plates, and I think that balanced out the green really well. You guys have to let me know which cup was your favorite. Any romantic, intimate dining is never completed until you add some candles. So I'm going in with these like crystal candle holders. They're really clear, but they have, you know, some style to them. They're really pretty. I absolutely love these candle holders. Then I'm going in with some flat candle holders and just adding it in between the flowers as well, and it looks beautiful. To tie in a little bit more white to the table, I went in with my white napkins, and then I just used these beautiful gold rings that I had. I wish I had something more woven, but these looked really pretty as well. And I'm just going to just put them in the holders messily. I didn't steam my napkins or iron them or anything. The wrinkles to me looked quite fine, but if that bothers you, definitely go ahead and steam your napkins. I'm also going in with a napkin in the basket just to cover up the stems that are sticking out, and to also make a placeholder for our wine bottle or our cocktail mix, whatever you're using, whether it's juice, non-alcoholic wine, champagne. I find that this basket just looks so cute and so elegant. Then I'm going to be placing down my board for where we're going to place our meal, and this is how everything looks before we add the food and the drinks, and I absolutely love how this came together. My husband came out and he was just in awe of how beautiful everything looked. I absolutely love romanticizing my life and just making these simple things more meaningful, you know, just going out and doing the little extra. I love it. Before adding my food and drinks, I'm going to go ahead and light the candles. What do you guys think about the tablescape? Did I execute my vision? Does it look simple and elegant yet very romantic? Let me know what you guys think down below. We have reached the end of today's video. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. If you're not subscribed as yet, please remember to click that subscribe button before you go. Also give me a big thumbs up. I would definitely appreciate it. And if you've made it this far, go ahead and leave me some green hearts down below. So until then, I will see y'all in the next one. Auf Wiedersehen.